Hi, this is Bob Brown, and welcome to my Facebook, YouTube channel. Hey, my area of expertise is business analyst, so I'm analyzing this as best I can. I'm praying that I'm right. I'm praying that Trump and Tillerson are playing the biggest gambit of their lives, that they're trying to out the neocons, the deep state, and they're trying to show them for what they really are. I pray to God I'm right. Let me show you a couple clips here to show you what we're being slow motion hypnotized, walked into in Syria. If we go into Syria, this could be the world conflagration. This could be Armageddon. The Russians are there. Russia is not going to back down from supporting Bashar al-Assad. So let's watch. Watch how CNN has suddenly changed towards Trump. Notice the following video contains graphic content. Viewer discretion advised. Remember that. Remember that right there.
It's a commander-in-chief test for President Trump, told reporters on Air Force One.
I'm not sure what that movie was in the background. It'd be kind of interesting to know.
Chemical weapons attack on its own civilians.
I don't know. Is that Star Wars back there? I never saw it, so I don't know. It's interesting that this movie is back here. Notice we have Trump, and we have this strange movie here. Is that... Again, you have to tell me, is that Star Wars? I don't know. The juxtaposition is interesting. You see what I'm talking about?
Secretary of State Rex Tillerson ratcheted up the rhetoric, indicating Assad's days may be numbered.
Assad's role in the future is uncertain clearly. And
notice how CNN is suddenly liking Trump. They're respecting Trump. Notice how everything has changed. The tone is completely changed. Their presentation is very changed. They're very pro the Syrian action.
with the acts that he has taken, it would seem that there was...
We don't know that Bashar al-Assad did this. It would be suicide to do that.
Before the chemical weapons attack, said the U.S. may have to live with Assad in power.
Notice how we have here. There's Governor Pence, Vice President Pence.
You and President Trump organized an international coalition to remove Assad.
Those steps are underway.
It's an extraordinary reversal from a president who years ago urged President Obama.
It's an extraordinary reversal. Why is CNN so happy about this? Bashar al-Assad would be insane to do this. He knows it would trigger world condemnation. He's winning the war. He's actually fighting back, and because Trump, under the Trump administration, we pulled back support for the rebels. And since we pulled back support, Bashar al-Assad has been driving him out, and he's, with the Russians' help, he's driving out ISIS. All of a sudden, all this has happened. CNN is happy. Why would CNN be happy? Oh yeah, I forgot. I forgot about this war. The CNN did not ever do one bit of evidence to prove that it was false. We all know that that war right there was unprovoked and unnecessary. That was a CIA lie, and the CNN, notice they like to brand themselves right here, went along with it. This is the initial bombing of Baghdad, a war that never should have happened, that unleashed complete catastrophe in the Middle East. So sure, why not have another counterinsurgency war? Why not be an endless war?
Now Mr. Trump sounds moved by the very same image.
Now this is very distressing, and I want to kind of skip through it. But I want to point out something about viewer discretion was advised. So here we have these poor children. Now, some people say this isn't real. I would say it's real, but I can't tell for sure. But I will say this. Why is it normal to show the Iraqi or the Syrian children being gassed to death? But when the terrorists attack in France, the bodies are never shown. Think about that. Why are the bodies never shown in France or in the West, but they're shown here? Now, if you know me and you've watched my channels, I do not subscribe to this mindless, madness that Islam is intrinsically, irredeemably evil. It's not. There are intrinsically irredeemable evil people in Islam, just as there are intrinsically evil, irredeemable people in the West. But I do not believe that the vast majority of Muslims are evil. I do not believe Islam is evil. I've been studying Islam. I studied Islam as part of a religious studies degree. I finished my undergrad with a history degree, but I partially almost minored in religious studies. I just never really formally got the minor. But I studied Islam very carefully since the the late 1970s, when the American hostages were taken by the Iranians. So I've studied Islam a long time, and I do not subscribe to the fact that Islam is evil. So make sure you understand that part of me. I do not subscribe that the West is evil. I subscribe that we are being driven, these two civilizations are being driven towards mutual annihilation by psychopaths on both sides. A tiny minority on each side, but a powerful minority, and they're driving us for destruction. And you're looking right there at it. This is what they're doing. They're putting these children here. They're trying to show you, they're trying to slow motion hypnotize you in. Yeah, we got to do something. Yeah, those neocons. I don't know if Trump got slow motion hypnotized. I pray to God he's actually pulling a Gambit on them to out them all. I pray to Almighty God. Otherwise, we're going to go after it. It's going to be a disaster. This also destroys the left and the Democrats and the Clintonians and the Obama maniacs. It destroys their entire narrative that Trump is a Russian agent. Why would he go against Syria? Is that why Trump's doing it? Is he trying to counter the Russian narrative by saying he's going to do something against Assad and then he's going to turn a Gambit on him? That's what I think Trump's doing. I'm staking a lot here, but I think Trump's actually doing it. But if we go in, it could be Armageddon.
Of war crimes that haunted the Obama administration.
When you see little babies that are dead from gas, and a very, very, heinous form of gas, which very few people have access to, that's bad stuff. That's bad stuff. Really bad.
Some GOP members of Congress already appear to be on board for military action.
I hope he's formulating a military response. And again, that military response doesn't mean we fully engage in regime change, but it can force the parties.
Now notice, all of a sudden, we're back to square one Iraq. We're to go in and change another regime. Now, Assad is an evil person. No one wants to sit next to Assad on the bus. Trust me. When you're on the bus to hell, if you're next to Assad, you're going to be in a rough place. Wherever you end up, you're going to be in a rough place. But notice, we have no evidence of. No one's told us, how do they know this happened? Wouldn't it be more likely that the rebels that were losing power because we were withdrawing our support? Wouldn't it be more likely that ISIS would do it, that Al Qaeda would do it, and they would try to blame or frame Assad, so we would go after him to do their dirty work for him? Look, in that part of the world, everyone's dirty. We're being hypnotized right in front of you. This is how they slow motion hypnotize you into hating Assad. You can hate Assad all you want, but war is not the answer. Endless counterinsurgency wars are not the answer. And look, see how CNN is ready. Why is CNN ready?
And it inflicts massive.
Oh yeah, forgot that. Vance, we're being hypnotized.
As a candidate, Mr. Trump vowed to punish China for its trade practices.
Because we can't continue to allow China to...
Trump on Syria's Assad. Something should happen. We are being slow motion hypnotized by the mass media, and maybe so is Trump, maybe so is Tillerson. I don't know. I'm praying that Trump is a smart enough gamesman that he's going to play a gambit to out the deep state, out the mass media, and show them that all they want to do is a big run-up for war, because war is ratings. Now, I want to tell you something out there. Most of the people who go to war, most of the people who join the military in the United States, and you can look at the demographics, are from the South, the Midwest, and they're mostly Christian. So, that's why the left, and CNN is definitely left, that's why they're not saying Trump is a warmonger. Why isn't CNN saying Trump, the warmonger, wants Syria's Assad to happen? Because they want the war. See, the left and the right are kind of meaningless statements now. But they have a common enemy. And I'll go into that in another video. But they're not saying Trump, the warmonger. They're not saying Trump, the Russian puppet anymore. They're saying Trump on a serious Assad. Something should happen. I'm showing you right there in front of you, you're being hypnotized into this. We cannot go to war in Syria. What happened to those children, whoever did it, is a crime against humanity. 100% agree. But we cannot let these people trigger us into combat, into endless internecine wars. We have to step back, and maybe in this case we really need to support Russia. See, this is what they're trying to do. They've driven this Russian narrative, Now we have Syria's Assad is being, in my opinion, he's being framed for this attack. And now they want us to go in, so we'll be opposed to Russia, Putin, and Assad, and we'll be, right there, and China's there, out there in the Mediterranean with their navy, will be triggered into an Armageddon. This is what these people want. Don't you get it? If you don't believe me, then you start explaining this stuff to me. This is Abu Ghraib. These are prisoners. You say, well, they're brown people and they're jihadists. They deserve this. Do they really deserve this? Is this how we treat human beings? I mean, this is Abu Ghraib. Now, I'm going to do a whole video on this one picture. But this is mind control right there in front of you. This is the fear of falling. You're hooded. You have a death hood on. You're probably naked under here. And you have electroshock therapy. Why would they be electroshocking him? The same reason they're doing this to you. The same reason. They are de-patterning you, de-patterning your personality. I'll show you a paper here in a minute. And this book here is in the book for de-patterning shock, electroshock, the case against Robert F. Morgan, Peter Began, John, and so this I got off Google. Shock treatment number 4. So on this on Google. Here's the search I did. Sorry, I didn't have it. Okay, and we are on page 79 of Shock Treatment 4 of this book. The program centered around what Cameron, that was the scientist, named de-patterning treatment and psychic driving. Between 1956 and 1962, he published detailed descriptions of these methods in a leading psychiatric journal, Cameron, Lohans, Hancock, etc. In the lead section of the first article on de-patterning, Cameron and Panning wrote, quote, "We are presenting a method of treatment for chronic paranoid schizophrenia, which we have found to be more successful than any hitherto reported. Procedure combined drug-induced continuous sleep, intensive continuous therapy, and large doses of neuroleptic thorazine." Cameron used the Page-Russell method. The Page-Russell method, very important, method of ECT administration. Page and Russell in 1905 in twice daily sessions. Each session consists of 6 150-volt electroshocks of 1 second duration. Each session consisted of 6 150-volt shocks spaced so closely together that the clonic phase of the convulsion does not become established until the end of the 6th electrical impulse. The intention was to continue the sessions till the subject reached the 3rd stage of de-patterning, which happened after between 30 and 40 seconds between 180 and 240 shocks. I'll skip on. Cameron, 1960, describes the subject's conditions in the 3rd stage of de-patterning. Quote, "He lives in the immediate present. All schizophrenic symptoms have disappeared. There is complete amnesia for all the events of his life." Okay. We have this. You have this. This is de-patterning. They are de-patterning this person. Okay, this is, and I can do a section on this alone, on de-patterning phenomena. If you have a better explanation for this picture and what you see here, I'll let me know. I still am amazed that any of this was released. I don't know why they did it. Why would they do this? But you're and me, you're being de-patterned too. This is another way they de-pattern you. This is right out in the open. You're going to be de-patterned. I'm warning you now, this is, I don't know what happened to Trump. I'm praying that he's got a gambit to out the deep state. I voted for Trump. But I'll 100% say here, if he goes into Syria, I withdraw all support of Trump. Because at that point, he's gone down the rabbit hole with the neocons, and we're on an endless, continuous counterinsurgency that will never end. At that point, you see, I would have voted for Bernie Sanders, but the Democrats cheated him. Fans, I'm really warning you here. I'm trying to warn you here as best I can that we stand on the edge of Armageddon. We stand on the edge of this endlessly. An endless, I beg both sides, don't take sides. Islam is not the enemy. The West is not the enemy. We have a psychopathy. We have a psychopathy in a group of psychopaths that believe they know how to control people's minds better than you know how to control your own mind. It's dangerous. We may be in the next dangerous 72 to whatever hours. Donald Trump, President Trump, I'm praying to God you hear me. I'm praying to God someone gets this video too. Do not fall into this trap. What happened, whatever happened, it has to be investigated through the UN, and if it is a war crime, then Assad should be brought on war crime charges. But we don't know if it was Assad yet. And we are all, and maybe Donald Trump as well, we are all being walked slow motion. It's a slow motion hypnosis into this. I've shown you how CNN has changed. I showed you how CNN never once questioned about this war in Iraq because they knew their ratings would go through the roof and they'd make tons of money. And I can tell you that the majority of people who died in these wars were from the South, the Midwest. They were poor whites, they were poor blacks, they were poor Latinos. And it hit the South and the Midwest particularly hard. And Appalachia, where my family are from, got hit particularly hard, and got many little towns got depopulated because the men are gone because they went to war and a lot of them didn't come back. I've shown you these pictures from Abu Ghraib. They're never explained. You explained it. You tell me, is this how we treat prisoners? This is depattering. And I've shown you the work on electroshock, on how they depattern subjects, and how we read, I have no existing memory prior. He talks to this person here. I have no existing memory prior to October 1963, and the recollections I do have events following years until 1966 are fuzzy and few. My parents were introduced to me. I did not know them. My 5 children came back from wherever they had been living. I had no idea they were. Now, I want you to think about that for a minute. They can depattern people. They've been able to do this since the 60s, and that's what they were doing here to these prisoners. They were depatterning these people. Don't you think that's a good way to breed psychopaths that could turn against you too? This is a disaster. This is a disaster, fans. We have got to get control of the fact that there is a tiny sliver minority on all governments worldwide are running us towards this disaster. We have to see it scientifically. We have to ask ourselves, is this the kind of civilizations we need? We don't need a clash of civilizations like this, because this can be reversed, and we've got to stop. We've got to stop this madness. President Trump, I hope you're playing the ultimate gambit of your life. I sure hope you are. I hope you're trying to out the deep state and show the mass media for what it is, because if not, we're going to have more of this, and it's going to be endless. It can't go on. Pray to Almighty God we can find peace within Islam and within the West before it's too late.